Yep.
What's going on? The owner and operator of Drew Richards Basketball Camp, head basketball coach at UNCP Basketball, Drew Richards. What's going on, Coach?
Nut, man. It's great to see you as always.
Yeah. So it's an episode with OT. Typically, I'm interviewing wrestling people, but hey, we trying to diversify our portfolio here. So, Coach, you just had your kids basketball camp. What is this? Fourth year?
Well, yeah. As far as me running it entirely, it's been fourth year, and then being a part of camp here, it's 10,
Yeah,
10 at this point. Yeah.
plus. And another successful year. Obviously, I can announce it. I've had both of my girls a part of these camps now, and they always come. They all have a great time. What's special about this camp? And obviously, why do you guys continue to do it? One for your program, and obviously for the community.
Yeah. I mean, when I was working for Coach Miller, and he kind of explained why he started having camps at UNCP, and a lot of it had to do with not only for the community and having giving kids something to do during the day, but also, for our players to interact with kids from the community and be able to, build those relationships. And then that way, come season, you're hoping those kids want to come out and then, to send to them to wear a camp shirt, do our games and stuff, and see the guys' autographs on the back. It's really cool. So, but it's kind of like a collaborative thing of just getting involved in the community, and also getting our guys the ability to get back on campus. They usually play in the afternoon, so getting them used to each other, giving them access to facilities.
Yeah.
It's kind of there's a multi-pronged thing that we try to do for camp here. But we had a great attendance this year, and I got to chalk that up to our staff. Our staff worked really hard. Coach Katz and Coach Sauce both worked very hard to get the word out and get it around town. And since we've switched this 4-day format, it's the most that we've had since we've had. So it was a great time. And then, as far as our camp is concerned, the one thing I keep hearing from parents is just the structure of it. I use the same structure that Coach Miller did. Coach Miller ran camps at Kansas. That was one of his first jobs. And so he took camp very seriously. And, places that I came from, it was a little more off the, flying off the cuff. Hey, do whatever you want. Just occupy them for 3 or 4 hours. Where here, we have schedule. We have this is what we're going to do for 15 minutes. We're going to do this. We're going to work on fundamentals here. We're going to do this. Concessions break here. Everything is very structured. And I like it that way. And so hearing it from the parents of saying, we appreciate you guys. Not only are they learning, but also it's a structure that we know that they're getting stuff done. It's not just letting them run around all crazy like.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. Like I said, I've been watched both of my girls go through these camps, and I think just one. I even learned something today. I learned what is it called? What was it?
Basketball coffee. Yep.
Hey, I see it all the time on TV and things like that. I never knew what it was.
Yep.
Now I learned one of my first basketball terminology. Even though I have a basketball wife, I should have already known that. But it is what it is. Now I know. Now I know. And then when I said, all right, Ruby, it's time for basketball coffee, she should know exactly what I'm talking about.
She's doing. Yeah, you got to take a charge, get on the floor, take a jump shot.
There we go. But no, I thought it was a pretty good camp. Obviously, I try to be a parent and not try to hover, and let her be on her own and kind of just watch from afar. But every year I walk through there, I see just the way your athletes and your coaches, they just have total command of the camp, and it just goes to show why you guys have had the success you've had over the course of your leadership here. How do you attribute some of that leadership that you guys have in your program during regular season, and how you kind of set the stage in camp with giving them the ability to kind of run the camp with you being there but not hovering over them?
Yeah, I think every player should have to coach at some point. I wish that I had to coach more when I was in college. I think it makes me respect coaching a lot more.
Oh yeah.
You give these guys, these guys that sometimes struggle at taking instruction and applying it, and then you give them 12, sixth graders. Hey, you need them to, dribble today, and they're trying to tell them what to do, and so it gives them a newfound respect for us dealing with 12 to 22-year-olds that have a mind of a sixth grader sometimes.
Yeah.
But no, it's really good for them because, like I said, they get to interact with the kids, but also we kind of try to teach them. We don't want your stations running wild. We want you to not rule with iron fist. But every coach has their style. When Spencer Levi was doing this camp, he had the back gym, and it was like a well-oiled machine. They were scared to death of him. He worked them hard. He worked them like they were college basketball players. Is how Spencer did. But but they loved it. Like they were getting better, they were improving. So there's a lot of people that were coming back for camp because they wanted to be held to that level of standard. And I think a lot of these campers appreciate, especially when they go, because we move, younger kids are in the main gym, but we move them to the back gym. That turns into a lot more serious basketball as those kids are getting closer to middle school and high school age. And so, we do a lot more intense drills back there, and the coaches that we know are going to get after them and make them run sprints if they don't do what they're supposed to, and do push-ups and things. Those are the guys we put in the back gym. So we try to evolve a little bit. When they're younger, they try to be a little more, oh yeah, we're having fun, and then maybe a little more serious. Then by the time they get to the back gym, they should be prepared to be able to really, tie their shoes and get after it.
But still, even though they're younger, they're still getting some pretty good foundational skill work done. I mean, at least that's what I saw. And again, by no means my basketball brain, but I could see the structure and the method to the madness. So that's pretty cool. So now that you guys are done with the kids camp, what's next for the summer as far as camp goes, or clinics and whatnot?
So as far as ones we're hosting, we had our unsigned prospect camp at the end of May. We have our kids camp this week. And then we don't have camp again until second week in August. We're going to have a middle school elite camp, and then we're going to have a high school elite camp. And we're actually putting them on Friday and Saturday. I think it's the 23rd and 22nd, August 23rd, 22nd. And so those camps are kind of designed. The middle school one was kind of engineered out of that kind of back gym. A lot of the kids were getting pushed and coached hard, and a lot of them were like, well, we want to do this again. So we're like, well, let's put together a middle school elite camp. So numbers weren't great last year, but I'm hoping they get up. They get up a little bit higher this year. And then we've had 80 to 90 kids at our high school elite camp, and it's as far as structure is concerned, it's a very structured camp. Drills, we're putting them through drills, and we put our actual guys through because we feel like if in a camp setting, if they can get through those drills and push themselves and push through fatigue, and I think it gives us a better idea of if they could play for us or not. Right. So that'll be elite camp coming up in August, and we should have a good number out there.
Yeah, great recruiting tool.
Yep.
Obviously, that's awesome. Well, again, appreciate you doing this.
Of course.
Obviously, you guys have had a lot of success during your time here as an assistant and associate head coach, and then you went down to that place, and then you came back to the good side. Obviously, continuing the success. Pembroke is a special place.
I agree.
Obviously, you don't leave and come back if you didn't see something here. First year, taking the program to new heights. Sweet 16 land. How do you double up on that?
Well, we're trying to just follow the wrestling team's lead, essentially.
Whoa, stop there.
We're trying to find a way to the bar was set so high by the wrestling team. But no, I mean last year was a lot of fun, and each year, it's new challenges every year. Last year we lost 7 guys off the team that went to a Sweet 16, so it's going to be a lot of new faces this year, and trying to get them acclimated and get them meshed together is going to be our biggest challenge. And it reminds me a lot of, a couple of years ago when we lost the Spencer and the Tyrells and the Snipes and the Dion's, and we lost a lot of guys off that team, but we had a good core of returners like we do coming up next year. And we brought in some guys that kind of fit those, the needs that we had after losing so many guys. So, I mean, it's one of those, like, I'm sure you take the same approach, just got to get better one day at a time. So, like, what can we do tomorrow that's going to get these incoming guys prepared? And, if there's guys here, can they get in the weight room? Can they get better? Each day at a time, and hopefully you look back in March or April and think, wow, we actually did it again.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So what was this? Is that 3 in a row conference championships? 4. I'm sorry. I didn't mean 4 in a row. 4 conference championships in a row. Again, first time in school history, Sweet 16.
Yep.
Obviously, we're not going to talk about the couple of seconds from being at the Elite 8.
Yep.
Hey, obviously the bar is there, and we know there's a bar to be. There's some things we got to achieve. So that's always, I guess, I don't know what the right word to use here. That's also
bar keeps going. It's like the bar keeps going up every year. Yeah.
So anything else you want to say to people? Where can they find you on social media? We're trying to blast you out there, man.
My Twitter is @DrewT_Richards.
Right.
That's probably the main thing I use for social media for our program. So Instagram's kind of locked down, more of a family thing. But that's it. I mean, and no, man, Pembroke's a special place. We love it here, and part of the reason it's special because of people like yourself and the program you run, and people like Paul O'Neill and Lars, and formerly John Haskins, but now Kendra. It's the people that really make a place. And then having fans. I mean, we had fans showing up today at camp to watch. Just crazy to me. That's something that's unique to Pembroke and no other spot. So it's always an honor to be in this chair and desk and be able to work every day at a place that you love, around with people that you love.
Yeah, you still owe me a year. Knox was supposed to wrestle for 1 year. So Knox, I don't care. You'll be 50 years old. Me coming after you. I need my year. So
I think Benton's probably more geared towards wrestling than Knox at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
She's crazy.
Well, cool, man. Hey, enjoyed doing this. Enjoyed watching your growth as an assistant coach, now into a head coaching role. Obviously, love watching you and being a colleague of yours. Is there anything else you got for the people out there in YouTube land?
Coach OT and I like going to Dirtbags, so we're probably going to be at Dirtbags pretty soon.
And then we're going to go eat some
fufu.
Fufu.
Yep, fufu.
Ruby's been asking me for fufu, so I got to get
peanut butter soup.
So she might get upset when we leave here, but it's all good.
That sounds great.
All right, well, hey guys, that's a newest edition, OT with OT. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Let's go.